What language did Jesus speak exactly? What was his native language?
Aramaic and Greek he would have spoken.
But what about Hebrew if he was an Israelite?
Possibly, because a lot of Jews could no longer speak Hebrew. Only the scholars could. The ones who were trained could read and write Hebrew, but most of the Jews, because of captivity, forgot the ability to speak Hebrew, read Hebrew, write Hebrew. So many of them spoke Aramaic, wrote in Aramaic, read in Aramaic, and some only in Greek, because the Jews that scattered among the nations after Alexander the Great colonized the world, many of them couldn't even speak Aramaic or Hebrew, only Greek. So
my question is, if Jesus spoke mainly Aramaic, then how did Greek become the initial language that the Bible was first printed in?
Hello, everyone. The everyday language spoken by Jesus during his time on earth was Aramaic, a Semitic language commonly used in the region of Palestine in the 1st century. A significant example of the use of this language can be found in several events recorded in the Bible, one of which is in Mark 7:34. In this verse, Jesus said to a deaf man, "Ephphatha," which means be opened. This word comes from the imperative form in Aramaic, et patak, which is a verb hitpal imperative. Its Greek equivalent is dianoik theti, also meaning be opened. Jesus' declaration not only demonstrates his divine power to heal, but also reflects his deep connection to the language and culture of the people around him. The Aramaic term, et patach, can be interpreted as revelation, illumination, or unveiling the hidden meaning. It can also mean be opened in the sense of opening one's mind, reason, or heart.
Then how did Greek become the initial language that the Bible was first printed in, and then translated to Aramaic from Greek, right?
The Jews did not control the world. The Greeks did at that time. And the Romans, though they would speak Latin, kept the Greek language as what they call the international language. So when the gospel went out, it was meant for all the peoples. So if you're going to communicate the gospel for all the peoples, and all the people speak Greek, not only in that area, I just said all the peoples, what area? Did they stay in they went all over the world, man. What are you talking about? They went to Turkey. They went to Africa. They went to Arabia. They went everywhere. They even went to Rome. They made it to Rome. My point is, if the gospel is for all people, what language are you going to communicate? The language that everyone speaks, right? Like today's English. See, I'm Assyrian. You're Arab. What language are you going to speak? English, because that's the language that unites us. At that time was Greek.
Okay.
So when the message of Jesus is going to be for the world, they're going to speak it in the language of the world. And then everyone, when they learn it, then they can translate in their native tongue.
But the core message would stay the same no matter what.
I mean, you have to believe that unless you believe God is limited to one language, which we don't believe. God is almighty. He created all languages, and he has the ability to empower his servants to communicate the same truth in any language. You have to believe that. This is why we believe the Bible is truly the word of God for all the world, not the Quran, because the Quran is in only one language. And if you translate it, they'll tell you it's no longer the Quran, because it says this is an Arabic Quran. So the English Quran is not the Quran. So how is it that the Quran, which is supposed to be for all mankind, is written in a language that less than 5% of the world's population speaks? Even those who speak it can't understand it without any specialized training.
The existence of Pontius Pilate can be historically verified. The Pilate stone, also known as the Pilate inscription, is a limestone block with an engraved inscription related to Pontius Pilate, the governor of the Roman province of Judea during the time of Jesus. This stone was discovered in 1961 by an Italian archaeological team, and is unique because it remains the only universally accepted archaeological find with an inscription mentioning the name Pontius Pilatus to date. It was found in an ancient theater built by Herod the Great in the city of Caesarea. At that time, Caesarea served as the capital of the Roman province of Judea, where Pontius Pilate governed under the Roman Empire. In Western churches, Catholic and Protestant, the acronym INRI is more widely recognized. The writer of this inscription was indeed Pilate, a Roman who spoke Latin. Jesus Nazarenus Rex Judaeorum, Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews, abbreviated as INRI. The inscription on the cross was actually written in 3 languages, and Pilate wrote a title and put it on the cross, and the writing was, Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. This title then read many of the Jews, for the place where Jesus was crucified was nigh to the city, and it was written in Hebrew and Greek and Latin. These verses illustrate the multi-ethnic and multilingual environment during the time of Jesus Christ. The Gospel of John provides a detailed account of the crucifixion, including the sign written by Pilate himself and placed on the cross. The official charge against Jesus Christ appears to be his challenge to Roman authority in Judea by proclaiming himself, or being proclaimed as, the King of the Jews. It is plausible that such a sign existed, as it served to declare the crime of the condemned individual. This practice is supported by other historical Latin sources from the same period, which describe criminals wearing signs around their necks or on their bodies indicating their crimes and punishments. However, there is a notable fact. While all four Gospels mention the inscription on the cross, only the Gospel of John records it being written in 3 languages. This highlights the trilingual nature of the cultural and linguistic environment during Jesus' time in the region of Palestine, Judea.